Sharing what I know about creating music predominantly on the mobile platform in GarageBand, on your iPhone, on your iPad. We've shared more than 3,000 videos and absolutely blessed to have nearly 120,000 folks subscribe to the channel over that time. So we've got a bit of an annual tradition where we jump in here and we just have a bit of a casual old chat about once a year, just to look back, get all a little bit nostalgic about a few things and say hello and say thank you to some of the folks who've been supporting me and the channel over that time. So, first of all, thank you to all of you, for everyone who's ever watched a show, everyone who's ever liked a stream, anyone who's submitted a song for Your Music Live, who's made a donation via PayPal, who is a member of my Patreon crew, who has been a guest on the show. There are so many of you. The sponsors of the show, DistroKid, and the other major sponsors of the channel. You're all awesome. So I wanted to put that up right up on Front Street and say thank you. I appreciate you. We'll say good day to the folks who are here live in just a jiffy. We are live to YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and as many places as I could find. So feel free to say g'day if you are here live. And as our wonderful moderator, speaking of people that we want to say thank you, our wonderful moderator Thomas Christ says, if you would like to support the channel, you can go ahead and do that at patreon.com/peachons, or you can make a one-off donation. I know subscriptions aren't for everyone, so you can go ahead and make a donation that way. So thank you for your support of Studio Live today. I appreciate it big time. So we are going to, what we're going to do here today, I'm going to go through a few things. We're going to talk about all the things I've learnt. So I thought rather than just, be all self-flagellating for the next hour, I thought I'd go through a few things that I've learnt over the last 7 years, which I tend to do each year, just to sort of stop and take a think about it. I went full-time, so I've been full-time for over a year now. So I thought I'd give you my breakdown of the pros and cons of being a full-time YouTuber, and what the difference is between being someone who's just getting the paycheck and working the stable job versus the flexible yet very unstable world of content creation and being a full-time content creator. So I'm going to share a little bit of that, and we're going to get a bit nostalgic and go back in time. I've got a question for you though right up front. I want to know, over the last 7 years, many of you have been with me for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or even maybe just a couple of days or months. So what is the biggest achievement that you've had in music in the last 7 years? I'd love to know, what is one thing you've learned? What is one thing you're super proud of? What is one thing, just what's your highlight of the last 7 years of creating music? Or even if you've been doing it for 1 year or 2 years, let me know, what is your absolute highlight? And it doesn't have to be related to this channel or anything we've done here, but do you have anything that you wanted to share? Because there's folks watching live, and if you're watching on the replay, let us know there as well. What has it been over the last 7 years? Because 2016, February the 1st, 2016, was the first time that this funny little man decided, hey, I would like to learn how to use my mobile phone and my iPad to create music, because there's got to be an easier way. I was grappling with Reaper on my PC, and I'm like, there's got to be an easier way. What's this GarageBand thing? And I actually started playing around with GarageBand, started sharing videos. The first video I shared was actually about music memos. We do this most years. We'll take a little look at that one so you can see where we've come from and where we are now a little bit later in the show. So I know many of you have seen it before, but just so you can see, it wasn't always as polished. The turd was a turd once upon a time, and now it's a bit more of a polished turd. So we'll go through that in a moment. So yeah, folks putting their highlights in there. So thank you for sharing that. We'll jump in and share your highlights in a moment. Before we do that, let's say g'day to everyone who's here live. Jade Star, hello to you. Frigsy Music, g'day to you. Our wonderful moderator Thomas Christ. Danny Gable, one of the kings of the Discord, by the way. StudioLiveToday.com/Discord. We've got Mr. Scott SM Borthwick, Mr. Mark Bro, Joe and Barry Glenn, Phil Gone, a bunch of folks who have definitely been around this channel for a while. Many vibes newer to the community, but no less important. Hello, Carlos Morales from Mexico. I was talking about Mexico this morning with my neighbor. Go figure. Thank you. Appreciate the congrats. Gregory O'Sullivan over there in Melbourne town. Joe and Barry Glenn are brownish. Well, that's a bit weird. There are different colours. There's lots of colours in the chat these days, aren't there? Hello, Smokey147. I think I saw a bear in there. Was there a tremor bear that I saw before? Driving home and listening. Fat Panda Cat. Have you eaten Skittles? Tasting the rainbow here. Maybe tasting the rainbow of chat colours. Maybe. Maybe indeed. So thank you again, everyone. Bleeding Red Beats. Thank you for being here as well. And Tommy Jack Music. Yeah, look, it's been a passion of love. No, a labour of love for the last 7 years. It's been weird. If When I think about it, it feels like it's been way longer than 7 years, but at the same time, it feels like it's just gone by in a flash like that. Like it feels like it's just been no time at all. So we'll say let's jump in and see what your highlights of the last 7 years, and then I'll share a couple of mine. So Jade Starr starting my own YouTube channel as a highlight, absolutely. It all began from helping out here. Jade's story is a good one to look at. Jade got super involved in the community. She started helping out as a moderator here on the channel, completely off her own back without any pay or kudos. No, she got plenty of kudos from me. But out of the goodness of her own heart, she helped out myself and other members of this community, and now she's doing it all herself. So similar story with folks like Thomas Christ as well. Definitely has come a long way, and congratulations to you folks for doing your thing. Friggsy had a highlight of actually getting started writing and recording. Yes, for those of us, I know many of you out there were in the same boat as me. You're a weekend warrior. You were one of those people, the people I used to play music. And I've decided that anyone that used to play music, you still play music. You still have music in your heart. You just probably haven't had the time. Life has gotten in the way of you creating music. So for those folks, I know many of you are out there. Yeah, be like Friggsy. Start creating. Happy Ron's never stopped creating. Thank you, the Johns versed a wide range of channels. And yeah, look, it has been wonderful. One of the big, we'll talk in a minute, but one of the big things for me has been having a community. And, spoiler alert, but one of the things when I'm talking about the difference between being in a workplace, in a corporate world versus doing this on my own, some people may say, look, isn't it ridiculously lonely not having people around you? Yeah, except that I got people around me all the time. I've got the virtual people that I hang out with here, and they are supportive, more supportive, I would say, significantly more supportive than other folks that I've worked with in the past. And I get to choose you. Yeah, I don't have to work with people. I can choose who I want to work with. So that's pretty cool too. Thomas Christ, growing my channel, developing Thomas Christ Live and You Rock, and meeting so many amazing and talented new friends. Funnily enough, I was watching a video yesterday, and to this point, it talked about what do you value in life. And the vast majority of people said they value time, they value their family and friends, and they value spending time with people that they love. Very few people. I mean, there's a few people that will just say, money, money, money. I want the money. You've got to get what is it? You got to get the money first. So when you get the money, then you get the power. When you get the power, then you get the women. But most people just say, skip all that. Just get the cool people. Like, just hang out with cool people. You don't need money or power if you're hanging out with cool people. In fact, the people that you'll end up hanging out with when you have money and power are just going to be soul-sucking succubuses that are just going to be yes men and yes women that are going to tell you that you're awesome just because they want to get into your pocket to get your money. Right? Yeah. Coldacre, playing a sold-out show with my previous band. Bucket list ticked off. Tick. Beautiful. Love it. Fat Panda Cat finally learned to play the piano. It took me so long, and I'm annoyed I never stuck it in the past. It's very gratifying. Yeah, it is, isn't it? And I bet you, even though it was a little bit challenging, you were probably putting it off, and it was easier than you thought going in. Like, more often than not, the things we procrastinate the most are actually the easiest things to do. Not easiest, but they're not as hard as our brain. Our brain will tell us that things are going to be hard, and then they end up being a lot easier than that. Writing my first song with lyrics, very cool there, Gregory O'Sullivan. G'day Samantha Edge, by the way. Speaking of awesome creators from my hometown of Radelaide here. Would never have released anything without your encouragement, Pete. Well, that's wonderful, and I appreciate it. And I guess that's been my focus and my highlight of the last 7 years has been seeing people who hadn't released music before release or share music for the very first time. So yeah, that's been my 7 years. And look, has it been at the sacrifice of my own music and creating music? Yeah, probably. Because since 2018, I haven't done a full album, and that's coming up 5 years now. So it's been a while, but at the same time, it's good. It's fun, and I get more satisfaction out of helping others, and I feel like I could do a greater good with the one-to-many relationship I have doing the tutorials and doing the help stuff than actually making it myself. And that's what I've chosen, and that's what we're going with. Our best thing with Joe was your help manage to figure out how to home record. Yeah, and look, Joe and Barry Glenn are another great case if you want to look into people who are creating great music. Now, were always great musicians, played live, recorded stuff, just setting the camera up and recording live shows and gigs. But now that they're using GarageBand and they've moved into LumaFusion for video editing and they're dabbling in other apps and things, being able to do that multi-tracking and recording, again, the quality of their production has just gone through the roof. G'day, Michael Thompson. Thank you for being here. I hope you are doing well. Clint Holiday, congratulations. Your tutorials are great. Have got me using iOS GarageBand with confidence. Thank you very much. And look, it's wonderful to hear from folks whose names aren't as familiar to me, because I know that there's many folks that are around the channel in what we call lurk mode, that you might not be front and center, you might not be putting comments on all the time, coming to all the live shows. That's cool too. There's people that want to be super engaged. There's people that want to be more of a passive consumption experience. And I guess the beauty part of the modern age of YouTube and sharing things online is you can be whatever you want. So number one, I get to do this, whereas no TV, look, I'm not being self-deprecating, but no TV channel was going to hire this guy to do what I do here on a TV show. But with the power of the internet, I get to choose to do it. And it's funny that every time I get very few haters. I get maybe 99% lovers and maybe 1% haters. But whenever I get someone here on the channel making a comment like, oh yeah, you need to give up, man. Look at you, you ugly old man. You don't know anything. I just go, hey, actually, the cool thing is that I get to choose to do this. And the second cool thing is that you get to choose whether you watch or don't. The one thing that I recommend you don't do is engage with content that you don't want to watch, because you're wasting your time and mine. So have a lovely life in the nicest possible way. Alrighty. Highlight for Sam was a tiny cheat because it was released on the 30th of January 2016, was releasing my original album. A bit sad. And look, that's the thing, I think, Sam. I think you and I are probably in the same boat, where we're doing so many other things. We're having so many bites of different cherries that the one core thing that we probably should be doing a little more of, like creating another album, is a little bit on the back burner. So how about you and I get that done in 2023, hey? Let's get some more music going on. As in Borthwick, my highlight was finding this awesome little community, realizing I wasn't just going to be shouting into the world, and discovering some amazingly talented artists. Here. Absolutely. There's some amazing talent around here. Yes, never stop creating. Absolutely. Crow and a Wire, one of my favorite YouTube names of all time. Not that I like crows. We've talked about this before. I'm not a crow fan. Executing the plan for a channel on YouTube has been a good thing. It has evolved a bit, but it's what planned overall. Yeah, very cool. And look, things won't always go to plan. Things won't always go 100% to plan, but you roll with the punches. You try things. Mark said, when I retired, I was basically facing a void. What do I do with myself? Found Pete and learned how to make my own music. That pulled me out of a very dark place. Best highlight ever for me. Congratulations, Mark. Round of applause, please, for Mark. And Mark is creating amazing stuff. Mark creates music in French and in English, which I think is pretty phenomenal. I'm very jealous of folks who are bilingual. And again, I know I could learn another language. Maybe I should crack out the Duolingo. My kids are on it every day. Maybe I should be doing that. But yeah, Mark, what I'll say about Mark is, yeah, he's really worked on his music, but he is and has always been a true gentleman and a supporter of everyone else's music. And I think that's just as important, as we'll talk about in a minute. Yeah, absolutely cool people. In fairness to the community, I'd love to hang out more, but the bills have to be paid. I've had more support from the folks here than nearly anywhere else. Very cool. Yeah, and look, that's exactly it. We still have to live. You still have to support your family. You still have to make a living. You still have to keep the lights on. And I'm blessed and lucky that I'm in a position where I've been able to do this. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to continue doing it for a long time to come. And again, it's all thanks to you folks, and I guess being a bit nimble and realizing that what is it Wayne Gretzky said? You got to skate where the puck's going, not where it's been or where it is. Because yeah, if you're not, you're going to miss that pass. You're going to be standing there, and the puck's going to be shooting away ahead of you, and you'll be left behind. Who haven't I missed? Highlight from Happy Ron. I've played on stage 3,000 times, but I rarely get a kick out of it when someone's in the John's verse plays one of my songs and I get the comments. And look, yeah, that's the cool thing, isn't it? That even if you don't have the ability, not the ability, but you don't have the convenience to play out live, or you don't have the confidence to play out in front of real people, as Happy Ron does, you can still share your music, and you can share it with such a diverse group of people that there's going to be someone that likes it. If you're in a club with 50 folks there, maybe one or two of those 50 might like it. But if you're sharing out to a You Rock show or to a Your Music Live where 1,000 folks are checking it out, there's going to be a chunk of those that are going to like what you're doing. Not everyone, and that's cool. It's okay. You don't have to like everything that everyone does, but you're going to find something that clicks with you and something that makes you feel good. Song Farmer, hello to you. Some many dreams have come true. Yeah, absolutely. And Song Farmer, is it Peter? I'm bad with names. I'm trying to connect things together, but I think you are Peter that shared a song with us on the recent YML. I think. But again, I get things wrong and I apologize. And it's a lovely problem to have that there's so many folks that sometimes I just smoosh people together. Hello, Sion, one of our OGs. Sion's probably been around this channel longer than most, I would say, Sion. I reckon you've been hanging out since about 2017, 2018, like really early on. Mobile music creator, and again, very nice guys. Actually met a few folks in the community. I think you caught up with Russ over in the UK. I'm pretty sure you caught up with Mark, being in Canada there. So, Sion, hello to you. I hope you are doing well. Mr. Bradlison Exampleton Seeky. I'm adding extra syllables every time I see you. Brad Example, thank you for being here, my friend. One of the nicest guys in the community. Thank you for being here. I know this is going to be a big yo, let's all pat the community on the back. But I think it needs to happen every now and then. Hopefully, we are going to talk about some other things in a moment. Yeah, we're sharing your highlights. Yes, Princess LDG. Before you head on, share us some highlights. Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend, Russ 8889. 7 years, you would have thought I would have learned something by now. Good on you, Pete. Well, Russ, what Russ did learn is how to use GarageBand, because Russ, shameless plug, shameless cross promotion here, but Russ has been one of the biggest advocates of me getting a course together and actually sharing my GarageBand knowledge. And more than 200 folks now have bought the $10 course, and you can do so over there, studiolivetoday.com/GarageBand. You can check out my GarageBand beginner's guide. Russ actually bought it, went through it, learnt GarageBand, and just like that, started creating epic music in GarageBand. I don't think it's his preference anymore, which is fine, but it's another string to his bow, and it's another thing that Russ knows how to use now. And I do thank you, Russ, for the encouragement and just giving me that nudge and that push to get that done. Speaking of encouragement and nudges and pushes and booming voices, Mr. Metalhead Hippie. Now, the hippie, it's an interesting story because the Metalhead Hippie and I, we started doing a similar thing at a similar time. And it's not that I had no idea that he was doing his thing, and I'm pretty sure Jeff had no idea that I was doing my thing, because I do a show called Your Music Live. I've been doing that for 2.5 years, and that show sort of came out of the fact that I wanted to share people's music. So many people were creating such good music in this community. I wanted a once a week show where we'd get together, share a bunch of songs, and make sure that the community knew who was creating good music, and that they were able to find some new cool tunes to listen to and support and encourage each other. And at the same time, Jeff and his Metalhead Hippie community were doing the exact same thing. And it's awesome that we've been able to kind of smoosh those together and that there's a lot of folks now who love going out and checking out the Hippie Show, who love hanging out here, who go and watch Jade and Thomas and Ron Ward and all the other members of this community, Leela, everyone creating content. So it's super cool. So hello to the Metalhead Hippie. I hope you are doing well, my friend. G'day, Rhett, the Mix Club. Thank you for being here. We're coming to the end of our highlights. Fat Panda Cat says the highlight was watching Russ 8889 and his mum Dot. A fantastic, hilarious pair. There you go. Very cool. Lots of good stuff. Smokey is Joe Motta. Hello, Joe Motta. Smokey1437. Again, this is the challenge. Try to put the names together. So many people have like their real name, and then they've got their YouTube name, and then they've maybe got a different name on Facebook, and they've got a screen name on Twitch, and it's like, who's who then? And it's weird when people come in and it's like, Mix Club. Hey, Rhett. And people are like, who are you talking at, Johns? The Mix Club equals Rhett. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Thank you, Michael Thompson. I chose music at a young age and never looked back. You sure didn't. Well, from what I've seen of your music creation, you definitely seem to have not looked back. Who haven't I said g'day to? You still Illa, goats and all. Hello, goats. Got a good bit of. Do we have any goat core music on the show today? Probably not, but could be cool. One of the new things with me is that I learned how to use Logic Pro, Logic Pro X, Logic Pro 10. Maybe, whatever you like to call it. Sion saying I learnt more about Nano Studio 2 from Russ than I knew. Yeah, Russ, when he did a couple of interviews and shows on Jade's channel and talking about how he creates music is amazing to hear. So there's a lot of good stuff over there. If you just search Jade Star. Here's the thing. Here's the tip. If you do nothing else with YouTube, what you can do is you can usually find things. If you go over to your YouTubes like this, and you want to find, you're like, where was that Jade Star where he was, reviewing stuff by Russ 8889? YouTube is run by Google. It's the second biggest search engine in the world behind Google is YouTube. So you can come in here and you can check out that one. You can have the Disco to Dog Tracks, the Russ 8889 documentary. There you go. You've got the original How to App on iOS interview where they talked about a bunch of stuff. You've got this one here behind the song Concord with Russ and Jade. So, and yes, there's some weird stuff in there about, there's the Wheel of Emotions, the album launch announcement. But then you've got Jade and Splinter. Oh no, that is a Russ thing. I'm like, wait a minute, what's that? No, that's related to Russ. So there you go. You got all sorts of stuff going on there. So just use your search engine. And when people ask me a question, it's not that I don't love answering questions. I always do. And in fact, if anyone has any questions for me right here today, you can just do that. Big Q in front of your comment, and I'll answer any questions you have. But yeah, the search engines are a lot quicker and a lot easier than I am. The human Pete is way slow. Google will answer your search query in about 0.1 seconds, whereas it'll take me probably 7 or 8 days to get back to you. So yeah, hippie is hip, slick, and cool, or some variation thereof. I had no idea how to record with GarageBand, found Pete's videos and started to record songs with Keith. Learnt so much for here. Very cool. Love to hear it because everyone should be making music, and there's really no excuse not to be creating music in 2023 in particular. There's so much stuff that you can do. Pete's show is a gateway drug is my highlight. Yeah, I have been told that. Every time I see I get onto the clubhouse where Russ and Jade and other folks hang out, Leela and Audible. And okay, I'll go in there about once a month, and I'm just like, oh man, I was totally the dealer. I was just like, come and check out Clubhouse. And now the folks are there, and it's cool though, because I know that it's always a friendly face, a friendly voice when I want to chat to someone. Ego left at the door. Ego left at the door, and some people here really would be entitled to have an ego. I think that's the biggest thing. Again, I don't want to get all soppy and emotional and all that sort of jazz, but I think the biggest thing that I wanted to find but couldn't find was the exact community that we now have. And I'm not putting my hand up and saying it was all me, because it's not. I'm one person. But what I wanted was a community that supported each other, that had the empathy and sympathy as creators to realize that this is hard stuff to do. To put yourself out there, to actually put yourself out there to criticism from strangers on the internet is one of the toughest things that you can do in any facet. And especially when it's your artistic endeavors, whether it's artwork or music or writing or whatever, it's a really tough thing to do. And we often don't pause and think about that. For some people, yeah, like water off a duck's back. If they get criticism, they're fine with it. Other people are at the other end of the spectrum, hypersensitive. And then there's all of the rest of us somewhere in between. But the one thing that I saw, and Steve Mara, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing this, but Steve Mara shared a story with me, and we'll get into some more stuff later, but this is important things. Steve Mara, one of the members of the GarageBand users admin team over on Facebook, he said to me early on, we were chatting about music, and he said, I started creating music, and there was this one person that just told me that my music was no good, and it kind of made me stop creating music. And I just thought about that. And this was Steve, who was like in his 40s at that time. And he's like, yeah, so I just stopped creating music. And this was like 20 years ago. And I'm like, how many people are out there that had that experience? That it was just one dickhead, and sorry, but I will say dickhead because they are dickheads, that instead of building people up, decided to push people down. And whether they did it through jealousy, whether they did it through just being a meanie mobini, or whatever it was, it's just so unacceptable. and I heard about this, and then I started like chatting to people, and I heard about it time and time again. And it's everyone, but it's especially like people in more vulnerable groups. So a lot of people in the LGBTQI community, as well as a lot of women, were coming to me and saying, and it wasn't just them, but predominantly because they were like, "It's toxic, Pete. You don't understand how toxic it is. You're a middle-aged white bloke. You don't understand how toxic it is. It's next level for folks that are maybe part of a smaller niche." So yeah, what I wanted to find and then hopefully help prosper was a community where everyone's welcome and everyone is helping each other. It doesn't mean we can't give criticism. It doesn't mean we can't say, "I really don't like that. Hey, that's a bit out of time. You need to work on that." We don't want the American Idol effect either. We don't want everyone to be happy clappers saying, "Oh, isn't it wonderful that everyone's trying so hard? 8th place trophies for all." No, but we want something somewhere in between, don't we? Yeah. Here. I agree with myself. There are indeed too many cool shows to watch for sure. I have missed some folks. Let's see. We'll say this name. Oh, I'll just put it on the screen there. Hello to you. Hello to you. Danny Gable said, I quit a shitty guitar shop 3 years ago and opened my own shop and couldn't be happy with it. Bloody marvellous. Good job as well. And I know our friend Bubba, I don't think Bubba's around on the stream today, but shout out to you, Bubba, did kind of the same thing. He's teaching guitar, he's got his own shop now, and he looks happy as a pig in the proverbial from what I've seen. So I'm sure it's a challenge too, but seems to be doing well. I'm just going to scroll down. Have I missed anything? Troubleism Harmonic Sounds. Good evening. How do I get my music on Spotify from GarageBand? What a great question. DistroKid. Yeah, you can get your music. So Spotify, so GarageBand. Here's the short version. Go to studiolive2day.com/GarageBand. Links in the description. So I've got my FAQ there that tells you everything. But short version is create your music in GarageBand, mix it to the best you can, master it either in GarageBand or using, say, a free mastering thing like BandLab or a mastering app on your phone or your iPad or on your Mac or your PC. And then once you've got your mastered version, sign up to DistroKid, link in the description, cost you less than $20 per year for an unlimited amount of music released, and then upload it with some album artwork. Boom, you're out there. You're on Spotify. It's as easy as that. No, it sounds easy. It is easy. So hello to you, and that's what you do. Back to vacuuming. Si. I know, not good. All right, I'm gonna tag Still Illa's question there to come back to in a jiffy. And we had a question really early on. Oh, hello Chip, by the way. Thank you, Chip. Chip is wonderful and is a great supporter. I saw his comment and then I've missed him. And hello to the Lily Pillies as well. I hope you are doing well. Kaholo Rocks, I don't create music for other people. I do it for myself. If they like it, great. If not, oh well, I had fun. Absolutely. And that's what it's about too. Everyone's got a different reason for creating. So yeah, and it doesn't need to be the same thing. It can be whatever you want. Hello, Desolate Morning. G'day to you. There's a lot of that in other groups. There's a serious case of getting one-up. Yeah, exactly. The whole one-upsmanship that you see in that. And yeah, particularly Steve Mara, his music is incredible. And imagine how much good music we missed out from Steve Mara over those 20 years where he just didn't create because of, one person's views. And again, it's a common thing. It's a commonplace story, unfortunately. G'day, Rena. Thank you. Yes, it's been a not good 7 years. Do your own stuff. Find your tribe. Exactly. Do exactly that. I'm wearing your shirt again. I know. The very bright red shirt I thought I'd go with today. I did get your question you posted earlier. I'm just going to see if I can scroll back up to the top of the chat, Barry, and tag it again. Otherwise, I might have to. All right, we found the bottom of the chat, so I'm going to go right to the top, and we'll see if I can still find it, because Barry did have a question early on. I forgot to tag it. We can go all the way back up to the top. All right, so I'm going to, and Omni Collective, who was here earlier, thank you. I appreciate you being here. When I started this thing more rigorously 584 days ago. There you go. Been going for 584 days. And Cold Acre, thank you for your pre-show hello, and also to Patrick from the Garage Band Guide. Thank you for taking the time to actually drop in and say g'day. I know it's late for our friends in the UK and Europe, so I apologise if you watch it on the replay. G'day to you. Look, it goes without saying, 98% of you know that if you want to know about GarageBand, especially on the Mac, but also on iPad and iPhone, and also all about creating, and also all about the gear, Patrick's your guy. And he's got he's funnier than I am. He puts a lot more effort to amuse you in his videos. I think he just amuses himself, and then it just comes across as funny for everyone else as well. And thank you, Jade Star, as well. Thank you to everyone. Feisty Feather, hello to you. So I've just gone right up to the top, and I've found some folks who are here super early. All right, cool. I think we'll go back to the bottom of the chat here. We've caught up. Yep, we have. And I've got the Mix Club. I've got your question tagged as well, so we'll come back to that. But yes, I do have it, Joe Barry. I've tagged your question as well. Let's grab these questions. And we'll answer them, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about comparing my previous job to being a YouTuber. I thought that might be fun. What I've learned from YouTube in terms of content creation, and then also what I've learned about with music over the last 5 years, and then a few thanks as well before we finish up. But again, got plenty of time today. This is going to be a casual, just a general chit chat. So if you do have any questions, you can indeed do the question thing. Smokey grabbed your question as well. I've tagged that one, and I'll answer those in order in just a jiffy. Thank you so much to the Metalhead Hippie. Appreciate you, my friend. I don't think I've ever done this with the hippie with Jeff, so I'm going to do the joke. I'm sorry. It's folks like Jeff and the Metalhead Hippie community who help keep the lights on around here. Without folks like Jeff, we'd be looking a little something like this. This is no good. You can't, or maybe it's better. Yeah, actually, I kind of look a bit more attractive lurking in the shadows. I look a bit more mysterious. Don't you think I look a bit like Russell Crowe here in the shadows? Maybe not, but thank you for that. Yeah, there you go. $7 for 7 years. Love it. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff. You're a legend. And I know many folks love catching up with you and your show. I'm networking, remastering a song I was requested to compose 1 year ago, but on iPad Pro was lost on GarageBand. Fountain Pete's videos every time I got stuck. Excellent. Brilliant stuff. Good to hear it, Rena. Hello to, let's see, it is Moon River. HKV tuber. Is that Hong Kong, perhaps? There you go. Yes, I want to say big thank you from Hong Kong and a very poor VTuber that cannot afford to commission any mixes and help my songs anymore. Your videos helped a lot. I guess that's the other thing is that, you know what, we're not all rolling in cash and have $1 million studios, and that's okay because you can create with what you got and you can get good stuff done for very low cost indeed. Let's grab these questions, shall we? After all of that, I said I tagged your question, and then it didn't work. We may indeed need Joe and Barry to ask the question again. I'm going to go right back up to the top again and see if we can tag it properly this time. That's right. I got carried away. I read the question, and then I got carried away with all the other comments and things that were coming in there. So let's find it again. No, it is gone. I apologize, Joe and Barry. I don't know what to tell you. Apparently YouTube doesn't like you because it's removed your comments because they came in before the show, I guess. So I don't know what's going on there, but please, if you wouldn't mind asking it again, I will add it to my list here. Thank you as well to Rhett, to the Mix Club. Thank you for that kind donation. It really does help. Like, honestly, when I get to the end of the month and I look at all the donations I've received, like it's a fair chunk of what I get from YouTube these days because the advertising's kind of gone down in the last year or so for a number of reasons. So I really do. I know I'm totally avoiding the question. So please re-ask it, and I will jump into that. Some other questions we've got. Does the trick to turn drummer tracks to MIDI still work? I can't seem to get it right. It does. I did test it. I tested it last week. What I am going to do, though, is I'm playing around with drums at the moment, still, Illa, so I'll test it again. It's very finicky. You've got to make sure that you have, if you watch it, follow it step by step from my video. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, if you put my name in, so just put Pete Johns Drummer to drums, what you'll learn is how you can actually turn in GarageBand iOS. You can turn the yellow MIDI drummer tracks into green MIDI drum tracks, and then you can edit them a lot more. I'm on the wrong screen. How about that one? So yeah, that one works, but you've got to create that additional track, and then you've got to have the cursor in exactly the right spot. So just follow through step by step, and hopefully it'll give you the right info there. But last time I checked, and it was only a month or two ago, in iOS 16, it did work. So fingers crossed for you. But I will recheck it as soon as I get a chance to do that. The Mix Club, how do you tag questions when streaming? Yeah, so good question. I use StreamYard at the moment, and StreamYard actually has a comment favoriting thing, so you can hit a little star next to it. Am I going to be able to show you this on the screen, or is it going to go all Inception style? I'm going to put this over here. We'll give this a try, but it might get a bit weird. I'll tap it real quick. Woo! There you go, Inception style. So what I can do is over here on this bit, there's all the live things. And if I wanted to say tag this Brad example one, I could hit that star and then it puts it over here in my starred comments. I'm going to bring this back now because it's gonna start breaking the dimensions of space and time if I leave that on there. But I think Restream and a lot of other platforms have the same thing where you can actually do that. So yeah, that's how you do it. So we'll pause to say thank you for Brad example, everything that I've learned from Pete and Jade. I still have a lot more to learn. Thank you both for everything. Well, hopefully, Brad, one day we can actually help you get a decent live stream sound from a freaking iPad or an iPhone. It hasn't been possible, and it's still quite a lot possible. But Jade and I are trying desperately. I promise you, the second that we know a way to do it, you'll be the first person we'll come to, and we'll all celebrate together. But yeah, Brad's been trying for a long time to get a decent sound, and it should be simple. But the problem is with all these streaming platforms, they all use the browser instead of using like a native app, and the browser has really crappy sound compatibility in iOS. So it's all because of WebKit. It's all because Apple have one WebKit that even if you're using the Chrome browser, it's all using the Apple's native sound system within WebKit, and it does not work well. It just does not. Thank you still, Illa. Appreciate the support there. Thank you for also, I won't do the joke every time, but thank you for also helping keep the lights on around here. It is much, much appreciated. So thank you kindly. Barry, I've tagged your question again. You won't have to ask it again, mate. All right, we've got that. Thank you, Thomas. Please, round of applause for Thomas. Can we get some thumbs in the air, get some crosses for Thomas Christ, perhaps? But Tom has been someone that's been around this community for a long time. He's so committed. He doesn't even use GarageBand, but he still hangs out there at GarageBand Weekly and puts up with my nonsense and the stuff that I use. But yeah, everyone knows. Well, most people around here know Thomas, and if you don't, you need to go and check out what he's doing over there at his channel. And as he says here, nothing I've done in the last 5 years would have been possible without you. Keep rocking and inspiring. Well, thank you. And all I do, I'm like the person that shoves you at the start. I'm the guy at the top of the water slide. That's the way I think. I'm just a lifeguard that when you're standing at the top of the water slide, you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. Maybe it'll be too scary. Maybe I won't have fun. I'm just like, see ya. Down you go. So that's the role that I feel that I play here. So more than happy. And then, because then it's all you. Once you get that confidence up, I tell this to my kids all the time. It's like, it's about repetition. Practice makes progress, right, Brad? Practice makes progress. The more you do it, the more you build up that muscle, and the less nervous you are about it, the more confident you are, and the better you'll do. So Thomas is an absolute example of that. So a great example. Thank you, Frigsy. Appreciate you. Yes, round of applause to Frigsy. Frigsy, I still remember the first time I caught a Frigsy. I didn't know this bloke. I'm just like, who's this Irish bloke? And then I caught one of your, was it called Messy Music Sessions? Messy Music Room Sessions? And I'm like, this guy's entertaining. And you were like standing up there, you had the big Irish flag in the background, and you were rocking out, and you were into all the same sort of music and the same sort of bands and the same sort of songs that I was. And I'm like, this bloke's a legend. And Frigsy was actually kind enough to join me. If we go, again, if you search Pete Johns Frigsy, and you want to check out what Frigsy's all about, the 50th episode of my Creator Town Hall show, I had Frigsy on the show, so 10 months ago. So here, I'll throw that in the chat here, because many of you may not have caught that. It was a really fun time having a chat with Frigsy, learning more about him and his music and his creations. So there's that one. Jump on over there, check out the wonderful world of Frigsy and his music. But no, I appreciate you. Appreciate you being around, mate, and thanks for all your support. Thank you to Mike and Dawn Janice. I've still never worked out how to pronounce it properly. I do it differently every time, if you notice that. I'm just like, it's Mike and Dawn. In fact, lately, I've just been like, hey, it's Mike and Dawn. I haven't even gone with the Janice or the Janesse, because I think it's Janice. Is it Janice like geese? Let's get this once and for all. Is it Janice like geese or Janesse like mess? Maybe that's what I need. So I'll think of you as the geese or the mess from now on. I might be able to get it right. But thank you kindly for the donation. I appreciate it big time. Cheers. I have to take a call. See you, Michael Thompson. Hello, Chris Pizzi. Speaking of cool people, Chris Pizzi's been around this community for a long time. Thank you for being here. The devil made me do it. Didn't have a chance. Yeah. I need to rediscover that song. I did this weird song called The Devil Made Me Do It a while ago, and it was like the most sort of metal thing that I've done. And it was probably inspired by Jade at the time too. So thank you for the 666. It's very nice of you, Jade. Yes. Lots of love for Thomas too. Yes, thank you, Thomas. Christ, Tom rocks indeed. And Cold Acre's got some horses. Because of course he does. Because why not? All right, I'm just going to scroll down here and see if I missed anything. Going to do another live stream soon. Wi-Fi's still crap though. You know what? You roll with the punches. You do what you can. Feeding the animals. Oh, we got that. Yes. Long E. Genice. Genice? Is it Genice? Oh, now I'm more confused. Genice? So is it Genice? Oh, man. Or is it just the last one? Alrighty. Okay. That made me think I had to get pulled out of the water slide pool. I can't swim. The dude pushed me. I hit the water and went down. All I recall is lifeguard yelling and stand up. I'm sorry to laugh at that, Rhett, but yeah, I guess that's one thing is that when you do go down that water slide and you hit the water and you feel like you're drowning, sometimes it's as simple as just standing up. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I've answered Rhett's question. Smokey1437, how do you get your songs to soundtracks or TV shows, even commercial? We have our songs through DistroKid. Yeah, look, this is something that I've considered. I've been thinking about. It's called syncing in the biz. So you want to sync your songs, which means that you license your songs to be synced in things like video games, TV shows, documentaries, movies, all that sort of stuff. It is apparently a hard business to make a lot of money in. You can get started. So if you search syncing services online, there's a bunch of services you can join where you upload your music to them and then they kind of put it in their catalog, and then if people use it, they take a cut, you get the rest. You can also go directly to studios and things, but they don't tend to like to work with individuals. They like to go through these agencies. Someone who's starting to work on this sort of stuff is Keonra. So Keonra Music over on her channel, she's just started dabbling in this whole world. So maybe check out some of her stuff. I personally have never done it. So I haven't gone down that road before. Someone else that's done a little bit in the world, who's creating some video game music and stuff, Mike over at Creative Source. So that's another source, pardon the pun, that you might want to go and check out as well. So yeah, just search out syncing, but it's not something that I have a lot of information on. But that's where you start. That's where you'll start with that. Hello, Emilio Gamboa Leon. For the 2023 holidays, I'm producing a metal cover version of those Christmas songs. Nice. The song's part of my metal Christmas album that I'm going to produce and release. Very cool stuff. Good work. Love it. And hello to you, Emilio. Someone else who's a very big supporter and often around the community. All right, the time has come. I'm actually going to find and answer Barry's question. Is I'd have a drink from my Studio Live Today mug. Water even tastes better from the Studio Live Today mug. I know it's not ideal, but could I automate some tracks, 3, merge, and then use settings to adjust volume in the mix? Yes, you can. So let's just work through this step by step. Could I automate some tracks? 3. All right, so you've got 3 tracks. Let's just say they're vocals. I don't know if they are. So you've got 3 vocal tracks. You add automation to the 3 of those to get them working well, volume-wise. You then merge them, and then you use the settings to adjust the volume. Absolutely. You know who did this? The frickin' Beatles, man. Like overdubbing, the history of dubbing. The Beatles used 4 tracks and 8 tracks for the longest time, and you have to do exactly that. All you're doing when you're merging down 3 tracks is it's like you're on a 4-track recorder. So, yeah, you got those 3 tracks, you pan them, you get them set right, you've got the benefit of using automation on those tracks, and then your merge is just your mix down. It's just mixing those tracks down to one other track. And then as long as your levels are all right within that, do it. I've done that on background vocals a heap. Right? With your background vocals, once you've got them sitting right with each other, yeah, and you've got the automation, you've got the effects, and you've got the panning, why not? Like, just put those all into one track called background vocals, because rarely do you need to vary the volume of background vocals. And even if you do, guess what? You can still automate that master background vocal track. So, yeah. And look, the answer is always, should I do this? It's like, try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. The one thing I will say is before you do that, before you do any merging, before you do any major stuff, especially in GarageBand, make a backup copy of your track. So if you don't know what I mean by that, I recommend using version control when you're in GarageBand or in any DAW, to be honest. So, version control just means making sure that whenever you're making a major update to a song, to a project, that you save it a version first and then come back to it afterwards. So, if I jump over here to my iPad, what I mean by that is, say I've got this is the song that I'm working on at the moment called Sink or Swim (brackets Hasselhoff). Don't ask. People that were there yesterday know why. So what I'd do is say I wanted to play around with this. I wanted to do this. I wanted to merge some of these guitar tracks together because I'm running out of tracks, or I just wanted to make it easier to control them. What I would do is tap and hold on this first, hit duplicate, get a second version, and then I'd start working the second version. That way, if I completely screw it up, which is possible / probable, then we're still good to go. So you don't actually have to worry so much about not making a mess of things because you've got a backup plan. You've got a plan B. So do that before you do any of this, and you'll be absolutely golden. And then you'll be just like the Beatles, Barry. So you'll be fine and dandy. So yes, absolutely can do good stuff there. All right, I reckon we've caught up on that. Russ loves the Beatles. I know. See, it's become this thing. I think deep down, Russ probably actually does respect the Beatles, but it's too funny now. It's too much of a good meme that Russ hates the Beatles for us to let go of. So now he's just embracing it, which is brilliant. We love it. It's bits I need to add into the tracks. Yeah, right. No Mando on guitar. Okay. Well, yeah. And look, if you've got more detailed question around that, do throw it my way, because I'm more than happy to help out. Ask myself or Jade. We'll definitely be able to help you. If you just want to shoot me an email with all the details, I can always get back to you. That's one of the benefits of being a there you go. Yep, vocals. Of being, is his guitar Mando got a lot of aggro before I can do it. There you go. A benefit of being a patron is that you kind of get answered first. It's not that I don't want to get back to everyone, but it goes in this order. So if you ever want to get hold of me and you can't, it goes like this. Patreon inbox, because I'm like, these people are paying to support me. They get first dibs. Then it's usually email, because I like to try and keep up with my emails. So Patreon inbox is usually 24 hours. My regular email inbox is 3 to 7 days because I get to it when I can. Instagram and Facebook Messenger, about a week if you're lucky. Instagram maybe 2 or 3 weeks sometimes. Twitter, I haven't checked in about 3 years, so don't DM me on Twitter because I probably won't get it. And anywhere else, it's not going to come through. If you've sent me what's that other thing that we have nowadays? The TikTok. I don't know if there's messaging on TikTok, but I'm probably not checking it anytime. Russ just hates everything. He's Oscar the Grouch. There you go. Oh, the Kinks were a better. Oh, it's on. The Kinks were a better band. Oh, it's on. There you go. So yes, if you do want to support, and again, it's not prerequisite. It's not a prerequisite to donate. It's not a prerequisite to support in any way. Sometimes the best support you can do is to actually just hang out here and hit the like button. In fact, why not do that? If you're having fun, hit the like button. What is Twitter? It's Elno Musk's little plaything now, by the looks of it. It's circling the drain, but it still seems to be surviving. But yeah, definitely kind of circling the drain a bit, if you ask me. All right. What did we have planned? We kind of went off the rails, but that's okay. It's fun to do that. It's fun to go off the rails sometimes. But yeah, I did want to say again, thank you if you're just joining us, thank you for everyone for all of your support over the last 7 years. Again, it's 119,000 subscribers is ridiculous. It's super cool, and I thank every single one of you for taking the time. And over that time, since I joined, because I actually joined YouTube on the 9th of November 2015 using this brand name, the Studio Live Today brand, and the first video was out on the 1st of February 2016, and since then, 32,190,000 views in total. Like, that just absolutely blows me away. Like, 32 million times someone went, yeah, that guy, I want to watch that guy dig stuff out of his headphone jack with a toothpick. Because it's still my most popular video of all time. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Hello, Higgy Higgins. I hope you are doing well. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things here. Number one here is, I did give up the corporate world. So I was lucky enough to be made redundant in 2020. So a lot of stuff went on in 2020, and I was working a day job for a large energy company here in Australia. And look, I wasn't hating it, but I certainly wasn't loving it. It wasn't my calling. It was definitely something that I was good at, but I really wanted to do the music thing. And I was doing this on the side. I was working my butt off because I was working basically 8 hour days. I was working 9 to 5, and then probably 5 to 8 doing this in the morning, and then sometimes like 8 till 10 at night. So I was kind of doing two jobs. And I got this built up to the point where I'm like, I can nearly take the plunge. I can nearly leave the corporate world and go and do the content creation and the YouTube stuff full time. And then I got the shoulder tap and to say, hey, because of all this downturn and pandemic stuff, guess what? Yeah, your job doesn't exist anymore. And I was like, oh, yes, very sad, isn't it? No, it wasn't quite like that, but it was not far off. So, I chose to not reapply for any other jobs, and I chose to be made redundant, which was actually a help because it gave me a small buffer by being made redundant at that time. It gave me a small buffer that meant that I didn't have to be right up there. I didn't have to hit the ground running with like, how do I desperately generate a full-time income from doing this, which has been good because it's meant that I haven't tried to take shortcuts. I haven't tried to use the hacks. I haven't bought subscribers or followers or tried to use artificial means to hack algorithms and things. I've just kept doing what I've been doing. And it's got me to the point now where I'm able to continue to do this, which is amazing. Ahoy there, Rick Lisk, by the way. Hello to you. Rick Lisk is one of the old, probably been around. I've probably known Rick longer than a lot of folks in this community because Rick's one of the OG GarageBand users Facebook folks from around the time this channel started, 2017, 2018. I'm pretty sure I've known Rick for all that time. Hello, Amelia, too. I think I saw The Bride of Christ. Did I see you drop in there? Hello to you if I did. I saw someone say hi to Amelia. There you are. There you go. Here for a second to say congrats on 7 years. Thank you very much. And thank you for your patience of allowing Mr. Christ to be our moderator and to help out. Hopefully you're never like, Christ, you haven't done the dishes. Get off that moderation. John's can look after it. Tell Jay to do something. There you go. Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and again, I feel super blessed, super honored. So thank you, everyone. So I thought I'd just go through a few little things here of what it's like because many people have asked me and said, "Oh, I'd love to do what you do, but isn't it scary? What are the good things and the bad things?" So I actually there's 5 things that I came across here. The difference between what I did before, the corporate world being the corporate wage slave versus the freedom of doing what I do now. Obviously, stability is the first thing that comes to mind because guess what? Having that monthly paycheck of the exact same amount every month was a nice feeling. It's a nice little safety blanket. It's like having a nice deep pool at the end of the water slide. The problem with being an independent contractor, what do I call it, a sole trader, is that it's very variable. Sometimes the tides weigh in and sometimes the tides weigh out. A lot of water references. I got water on the brain at the moment. But the benefit of that, I guess the flip side of that is it also means that unlike the corporate world, if I work my ass off, I can actually do better. So if I slack off, then things are going to fall back a bit. If I work my butt off, not always, but there's almost a direct correlation between how hard I work and what I can actually get in return. So that's a bit better because anyone else that's worked in the corporate world, you know how frustrating it is that the bloke next to you that's phoning it in at about 10% versus you who might be grinding it out at 120%, and you're getting the same paycheck at the end of the month. It's kind of stupid. And the bosses don't care because the middle managers only care about pleasing the upper managements. And anyway, don't get me started on corporate politics. But yeah, it is nice from that point of view. But do I miss the absolute safety net of having a stable wage? Yes. I'd be a liar if I said not. But we're still going to go. We're still going for it. Number 2, the people. People say to me, don't you miss the people? I'm like, don't you know me? Don't you miss the face-to-face interaction? Don't you miss working with the same people, working in teams, that group collaboration? And I say, well, yes, sometimes a bit, but for the most part, I kind of like what I do. Because you know why? I alluded to it before, but I get to choose who I work with. And if I want to work with no one, if I want to work by myself, I can. If I want to collaborate with other people and I want to work with other people, I can. I don't have to work with companies that the marketing department says I have to, that I think are just giant TWATs, because they're friends with their friends with their friends. Yeah, you get what I'm saying here. I can go out and do that. I don't have to accept a NordVPN sponsorship because I don't think that that aligns with my brand. But I can choose to go out and talk to DistroKid and say, hey, I think your brand works really well, will work well with my brand. Would you like to sponsor a show? And when they say yes, I celebrate. So yeah, the freedom of being able to work with only people that I dig and that dig what I'm doing, very cool. I reckon so. Tell Jay to do some work, cheeky bugger. I know, right? Yep. Amelia has the patience of a saint to put up with me. I don't know how she does it. I like it. Wet brain. Yep, definitely. Definitely a bit of wet brain. You have to get it to so we're talking about music libraries. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, look, I have 120. Well, I have. There are 120,000 subscribers. Let's be honest. There's not 120,000 people that regularly watch the channel, but that's cool. It is still cool, Rick. And I know when you first started watching, I think I had 2,000. So yeah, it's been a pretty cool roller coaster ride. The number three thing that people say to me is, what about the structure? How do you stay motivated when you don't have to be there from 9 to 5 and you don't have a set time to do things? You don't have like a boss breathing down your neck with time frames and telling you what to do next. And yeah, look, that to be honest, that can be a challenge because guess what? I get up in the morning. Sometimes I don't feel like making a video. Sometimes I don't feel like doing that live stream. Sometimes I definitely don't feel like going in and answering emails and doing the admin and paying the bills. But I kind of have to do it, otherwise I don't feed my children. So yeah, it is a little bit tougher to do that. But I think on the flip side, the freedom of not having a structure around me, not having to do things at a certain time means that last week I can just take a day in the middle of the week and go to the beach with my family. And I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to get approval from a boss that doesn't give a crap. I just do it. So again, yeah, sometimes I miss the structure a little bit, but more often than not, the benefits of having the freedom of my hours outweigh the lack of structure and the motivation to do things. Excuse me a moment. I needed to cough. I didn't want to do it in your ear. Number four, to specialize on and to focus on what I do best. This is one that I have kind of grappled with because when you work a job, you're employed to do the job because you're good at doing the thing that you do, and you don't have to do everything else. So one of the challenges that I have had is that when I worked as a sales channel manager, guess what I had to know about? I had to know about the sales channel. I had to know about the sales funnel and the website and the call center, what products we were selling, what the market was doing. And I was pretty good at that. I was an expert in those things. Then I did this job and I had to do all of that. But I also had to be the communications person. I had to be the graphic designer. I had to be the accountant and the finance manager. I had to be the internal sales liaison to talk to sponsors and talk to collaborators. So yeah, when you're a sole trader, you kind of have to wear all the hats and you don't get to specialize on things anymore. The benefit of that is the variety, that I'm not just doing the same thing. Guess what? It was a rinse and repeat thing because in the sales world, it's how many sales do you get this week? How many are you getting next week? Did you not reach your targets? Well, what are you going to do next week differently to reach your targets? Oh, you outstrip your targets? Well, guess what? We're putting your targets up next time. It was as simple as that. Whereas in this world, in what I consider more the real world, you got to do everything. And I've learned a lot of stuff. I've learned what I love and I've learned what I really don't like. So for me, it's been about how do I make sure that I'm doing more of the things that I'm good at and that I like, and maybe not spending as much time doing the other things. And hopefully I can get, eventually, I've always said the one thing that I will get before anything else is probably a bookkeeper because, yeah, doing the accounts and doing the taxes and things like that is never fun. Not my favorite thing. And the number 5 thing is the location. So people say, don't you miss going to a place? Don't you miss going to the one place all the time? And again, the answer's no, not really. I like the freedom. I like the being able to find to have no fixed location, to always be able to work where I want to work And yeah, again, the stability of having an office and having a desk and having a cubicle and having all that stuff, yeah, maybe, but it really doesn't outweigh the benefits that I've had from being able to do this. So that's my rant so far, and that's where we're at. Still waiting for your Loopy Pro review. I know how long ago was it that you showed me Loopy Pro? I didn't do it. So sometimes I do procrastinate. That is for sure. So we're going to take a break here. We are an hour in, and what I wanted to do is I did promise this earlier. So if we go here and we search Pete Johns Music Memos, we can jump in here and we can check out my Music Memos video. So Music Memos is no longer with us here. It was an app that was released by Apple as like a companion to GarageBand, and you can see there from the top one, goodbye Music Memos, it went away. But the very first video I did, there it is, 7 years ago. This is the first video I did here on the channel. So I'm going to take a quick break, but I'm going to leave you with this video so that you can see what we were doing early on and have a bit of a laugh. Here's that intro you saw at the start of this show. This was the original OG 2016 intro on Studio Live today. Oh, it started already. We'll just come back there. So I'm going to play this and take a quick break, and I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll just let you take a look at this one and chat amongst yourself for a few minutes. So I'll see you in a jiffy. Enjoy the very first Studio Live Today video ever. There, Pete Johns here from Studio Live Today, and I wanted to take you through a crash course in how to use the Music Memos app, which is the latest music creation tool from Apple, available for the iPhone and iPad. So let's jump in and get started. So when you load up the app, you'll notice that it's a very simplistic interface. It's got a little blue light there ready for you to press and start recording. So what we're going to do is I'll hit the button and record a quick riff, and then I'll take you through the options of how we can craft our song. There you go, not going to worry the music charts with that one, and I've forgotten to press stop. That'll give us some interesting editing to do. So what this has done now is it's captured my song idea, and you can see at the bottom here, if we scroll across, it has transcribed the chords that I've played, or what its best guess is at those chords, and we can just play back this idea and it'll be ready to go. So let's just play back and see what it sounds like. Give it a moment. So we'll pause on that. You can see that, well, you may be able to see that some of the chords are not transcribed correctly. There you go. You can go and watch that again in your own time. But yeah, let's just say that the quality, I didn't really understand about lighting at that time. I filmed this with an iPhone 4S, and I was using my iPhone 5S at the time. So it was some old school gear there. But Music Memos was awesome, and that video got a bunch of views. Like, a lot of people really seemed to like that. What has it had now? Okay, it's had 2,000 views, but at the time, that was epic. And then I did a follow-up video on that one, my deep dive, that got like 7,000 views. And at that point, I was kind of hooked, because I'm like, yeah, this is fun. And then started producing more GarageBand tutorials, and then started doing my songwriting, like song in a day and song in a week challenges and things like that. And then, yeah, sort of, wow, okay, no one else was really doing a lot of GarageBand mobile, especially on GarageBand iPhone stuff. So when I did my first EP, I did that in 2017. And that was kind of the first time I'm like, hey, this is actually engaging with folks. People are like, oh yeah, I want to be able to do what that guy's doing. And a lot of people said they found me because they asked a question. I think Thomas Christ said this early on. He asked the question basically, can I make good music, or can I release a song made on an iPhone or in GarageBand iPhone? And he found probably something like my 5-day songwriting thing here, which is which is slightly better. So I improved over time. So this is like 5 years ago. So there I had sort of, a bit more lighting and the camera set up a little bit better. And yeah, had again, same sort of stuff there. So that was going from Music Memos over to GarageBand. But you can see there I was on my phone and I was creating whole songs right there on my phone. So yeah, it's that was kind of the inspiration of where everything has come from. And what I need to do now is probably more of the actual music creating because that's probably what suffered the most. Hello, Brandon Martinez. I think there's a free form is a memo thing that magically appeared on my screen with all my other apps. Oh yeah. Freeform that's in iOS 16. That's Apple's little memos thing. It's not great for music. It's great for like capturing ideas or collaborating on songwriting. I haven't used it personally, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be cool. Is this the Toothpick episode? Awesome. Yeah, it is. And look, if you're wondering what the Toothpick thing is about, why do I keep talking about that? Well, it's because the number one video on this channel of all time is this one. It's headphones not working. This simple cleaning method could help, which now in hindsight sounds like the crappiest clickbait title in the world. The thumbnail there is just my chunky thumb and a headphone jack, but for whatever reason this one just went into the search algorithm, and because it actually works. So if you don't know, there's a pretty simple way. When you've got a clogged up headphone jack or a clogged up lightning port on your phone or your iPad, get a toothpick and just gently scrape it out, and 9 times out of 10 it fixes it instantly. But for whatever reason, folks didn't know that at the time. And when I created that video 4 years ago, it just took off. And because everyone had the same problem. Everyone just shoved their phone in their jeans and then it got full of crud. So a lot of people actually subscribe to this channel based on that video. In fact, if I go into that video, it should tell me, if I go into the analytics, it should tell me how many people subscribed based on watching that video. And it's probably going to be a lot. It's probably why when people say, oh, look, know what? Oh, let's go lifetime. I'm just going to go the lifetime of this video. Yeah. So I can't show you all the other stats on there, but of the 1.8 million views, 8.3 thousand subscribers out of that video. Now, the problem with that is, and this is why some people say, you've got 100,000 subscribers. Why do you, like 50 people come along to your live streams? Why don't you have 500 people at your live streams? It's because a lot of people watched 1 or 2 videos, got the help they needed, and then moved on. Like many of you folks are creating music and you're part of the community and you're doing all the things, and therefore it's relevant to watch all the other stuff. Not so relevant for some other people. They just wanted that help and then they were going to move on. So yeah, there you go. I know damn, look at the bevels, like the old phones with the big chin, the big forehead and the big chin. I know, it was ridiculous. Yeah, I had to go back to the dog hadn't escaped actually. Because I thought I might have left the garage up and the dog was in the lounge room, and I'm like, going to be in trouble if that happened. Yes, Australia does have severance pay, so that was the good thing, Rena. I'd worked there for 18 years, so they gave me a little handshake when I left, and that actually helped out. It eased the challenges. Hello, Mr. Stephen Rowe. Rowie, hello, Rowie. There's a Stephen Rowe here in Australia. He's a football guy. He's Rowie. So I don't know that you're the same one. My music memos is offloaded because I didn't use it for ages, so I assume I wouldn't be able to get it back now. That's a good question. Normally with an app like that, if you go into the App Store and you go into your previously downloaded, you should be able to get it back. But I don't know, because it's been deprecated, whether it's actually available. What I've got a video over on my channel about how to get GarageBand. So follow this one. So if you go Pete Johns, GarageBand won't download. And this was another popular video in the time because, where is GarageBand? So it's this one here. I'll put this one here. So this video shows you basically how to go into your app store. Oops, that didn't work. I just pasted in the title of the video, not the. Have you noticed that they've got these big, long, stupid links here now with all this feature and all this other stuff? It's because they want to track you more. So it's kind of sucky. But yeah, this will show you how to go into your app store. And if you've got an app that you had before that you can't get in the app store, you basically go into your account, you go to your previous downloads, and then check there. So if you've had it before, it should still be there because it should give you access to apps that aren't in the app store, but you've downloaded before. I think so. Yeah, if you do have music memos, keep it on there. But see how that goes, Stephen. See if that can fix it up for you. Yeah, it should still be working. It's still on all my stuff. So if I go here to me, it's still on my iPhone 12 here. I'm almost sure of it. Oh, I can't do that. Music memos. Yeah, there it is. So it's still here, still exactly the same, almost exactly the same. Recording is moving to voice memos. Yeah, whatever. So la 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 la. There you go. That was apparently F, F sharp, D sharp, C sharp. Let's see. Oh, play. Oh, it's not playing. So la 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 la. So la 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 la. It's not working. It's not putting the drums on there. Anyway, it's a cool app. If you haven't played with it and you haven't downloaded it before, guess what? You probably can't. When I upgraded my iPad Air 2, it should bring it over if you've got it. If you had it at some point, exactly. If you had it at some point, it should still be accessible. Give it a shot. Let us know how you go, Steve. If you do it live here today. All right, let's see if yes. Hello, Omni Collective Creativity. You can change titles and thumbnails after the fact. By the way. It's true. Yes, you can. Here's the thing, though. I don't tend to. If you've got a popular video, one of the things I learned early on is don't mess with it, because sometimes if you've got a successful video but you've got a bit of a clunky thumbnail or title, and then you change it, it'll basically re-rank it, and sometimes it'll take you out of the search results. So sometimes. That's why a lot of my older stuff, I did sort of redo thumbnails and titles for some stuff that wasn't working, and then it did go higher up into the search results. But for a lot of stuff, I left it the heck alone, because as soon as you touch it, it goes to schnizzle. Yes, the video that went boom. It was indeed. Oh yeah. How did I go at the Apple Store? So interestingly, I'll tell this little anecdote here. We're going to go off on tangents. I did say that at the start, didn't I? This would be a very casual, tangential show where we're going to talk about all the things. So some of you will know that on one of my live shows last week, I mentioned that I took my phone to the Apple Store. I was going to the Apple Store because, despite the fact that I'm the king of shove your toothpick in there, ding, I couldn't get it out. Ding. So I did go to the Apple Store and I asked them, and lady comes out and she's basically got like one of those dental hook things, and she starts scraping in there. I'm like, okay, so here I am telling people not to use anything metallic, and the first thing she does is whip out a metal hook and start digging around in there. Okay, I guess you can't do that much damage. So, but she was being very careful in there. But the one thing she did have is she had one of those lights that the doctors have that look into your ears. So the ones with the magnifying glass and the light, and she was shining that in there. And I'm like, there you go. That's the next video, isn't it? It's I need to find a cheap source on Amazon for those little ear lights so that everyone can like go prospecting for dust inside their own thing. So it didn't work. So she took it out the back to the secret room to do the secret stuff. And she came back and she's like, there you go, all fixed. And I'm like, out of interest, what did you do back there? And she said, I had to get the microfine thing to scrape out because there was a lot of like caked on stuff right down the back. And then I had to use a little compressed air to puff it out. I'm like, okay, so all the stuff you tell us not to do is what you do out the back there. You're thinking it's some like amazing cleaning machine that they're just like, oh, I did the technical stuff. And yeah, really, they're doing the same stuff that we're doing. So there you go. It's all fixed. The benefit, though, is I walked out of there, and was it you, Jade, or someone that said beforehand, they're like, guess what would you do if you had a Samsung? And I know, look, people give Apple grief. People say, oh, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, you're paying the Apple tax, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? There ain't no Samsung store. If my headphone jack won't work or my lightning port won't charge on my Samsung phone, if it's out of warranty, because this is a 2.5-year-old phone. If it's out of warranty, they'll tell you to take a running jump, but for free. And as I'm walking out, she's like, oh, if it happens again, come straight on back. Like, don't stress. Like, don't worry about it. We'll fix it again for you. So, and I don't think that was a me being me thing. I think that's pretty much what they do for anyone. They want to try and help you because guess what? You walk out of there and you're like, great. Hey, Apple really helped me. And what phone am I going to buy next? An Apple phone. So they're going to get another couple of grand out of me as soon as this one finally does bite the dust, and then I'll buy an iPhone 15 next year, and everyone's good. It saved my iPhone SE. Cool. Nice one. I think I found this channel because of the toothpick vid. There you go. A lot of people are still around because of the toothpick video. Because you're like, hey, who's this funny little man? Maybe he's got other things. And because I would have responded to you as well, because there's something like 3,500 comments on that video, and I've responded to each and every one of them. Which was a kind of weird undertaking, but on those I said, "Hey, thanks. I appreciate you. If you'd like to consider subscribing, we'd love to have you on board, and we would." Okay, Pete. New year. I think you're going to the next level and join a PRR. Maybe get your music further out. I think growing could be picked up country music. Yeah, look, yes. Short answer is yes. You might have seen, Rena, that I'm focused. I'm trying to push harder onto actually making music. My actual creativity has lapsed in the last 2 years, and I do want to make more music, and I do want to do more things. And I have to join a PRO. Jay's been bugging me about that for years, and I should have been doing it for years. But yeah, PRO, Performing Rights Organisation, there's no excuse for me to not, because even if my music's not being played on radio, even if I'm the only one playing it, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I have that? Like, it doesn't cost much, I think, or anything in Australia, to join APRA AMCOS. I think there's a registration fee to join, to become a member. But yeah, I need to do that. So watch this space. I'll be doing that in the future. For sure. For sure. It's row as in row a boat. Row, row, row your boat. There you go. Yep. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, everything here in Australia is like rowy. Like everything's E. Got an E on the end. Let's go to a Barbie. Did you know that Rowies having a Barbie on Sunday? Kind of like that. BBS, hello. Welcome aboard. Are you going to get the new Mac Mini? No, but yes. So my plan at the moment is I have the MacBook Pro and I have the Mac Mini M1. The Mac Mini M1, I'm using it to stream right now. It is still working fabulously well. I don't really need any more horsepower. However, at the point where I'm probably going to use it throughout this year, and I will upgrade to the Mac Mini M2, but I'll do it in a while. And I don't think, because at the moment I'm tossing up, do I need the Mac M2, or do I wait for the Mac Studio M2 and just really just future-proof myself for like the next 5 years? So it's more likely to be something like that. So probably I'm thinking the Mac Studio M2s will come out maybe like September, October, like later this year, or maybe even around July, WWDC. So it might be that. And then this one, because my daughter does need a desktop because she's using my old Windows PC. So I might be going down that track. But I've been on a gear diet. You might have noticed that I'm actually trying to get rid of gear as opposed to add gear. I haven't bought any new gear in a really long time. Nothing substantial anyway. I think the most substantial thing is like cables and guitar strings. I'm just buying consumables right now. So I'm on a gear diet. So not right now. But I don't think if you've got an M1, I don't think you need the M2. To be perfectly honest, like, let me know other folks that maybe think differently. But I think if you've got an M1 Mac right now, and you're using GarageBand, or you're just creating, pretty simple music like most of us are, I think you're actually golden. I don't think you need a whole lot more than that. Brandon Martinez, best to do things yourself sometimes. Just earlier, T-Mobile told me they could put a screen on my phone. Just did it myself. Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes you can just do it yourself. And that's obviously what people were looking for. Some people said they literally went to the Apple Store or went to their provider and they said, nothing we can do. We need to replace the whole port. It's going to be $200. And then they dig it with a toothpick for a couple of minutes and bingo. Got to love that you're building your knowledge base from the Apple Store attendants. Yeah, it's like you're basically going, exactly, it's an educational class. And that's what I thought. I'm like, I'm going to be a consumer here, Sam, and I'm going to walk in and I'm going to find out what they would tell someone else. And then I can pay it forward and pass it on. And I'm doing them a favor because they don't have to go into any. Stuck a vacuum. Yeah, they just got the Dyson stick vac out the back and do it. Yeah, they do. Look, they do. And the nicer you are, the nicer they are, generally. What happened to the string piece you were doing, Pete? Was I doing a string piece? Probably. I got so many things that are on the back burner at the moment. I was doing a cover of Bad Moon Rising. I've been doing a lot of things that didn't kind of make it all the way through. So I will. I'll definitely go back. I'll go back and take a look at some other stuff. A lot of people saying good service from Apple. I did a string piece, like I did a song called Turn Back on my very first EP back in my days where I went to the cool people are over here on YouTube, by the way. Rick, you're right. Way back when I did my first EP called Recoil, and it had a track called Turn Back that had like some GarageBand strings in there, which were cool. I'm just scrolling through to see. Frigsy says YML was recommended to me after Pete had responded to a question I asked him on a mixer versus interface vid. So there you go. A few years later and still here. Boom, boom, indeed. And that's probably the other one that a lot of folks have found me from because I was grappling with this about what the difference was when I first started out. I'm like, I don't know what the heck the difference is between a mixer and an audio interface. Why would I need a mixer? Why would I need an audio interface? And a lot of people were getting into trouble. They were buying these mixers thinking that they were getting 4 or 8 or 12 channels. And really, a mixer's only giving you that one stereo channel. So I made this video, that one there, audio interface versus mixer, which again's had 564,000 views. And a lot of folks found me through that one because I think, hopefully, in the 7 minutes, I clearly explain. I think this is the difference. I didn't really, at that time, I didn't really have any reason. Like, I didn't know about YouTube. It's 7 minutes, so you know I wasn't trying to do it for the ads, for the clicks, because in case you didn't know, little YouTube secret, you can't put a mid-roll ad in if your video is less than 8 minutes. It used to be 10 minutes, now it's 8 minutes. So if that was an 8 minute and 1 second video, I could stick an ad in the middle of there and make more money. But I didn't know that at the time. So I think that benefited me because I just wanted to explain things simply and get the information across without kind of trying to do anything else. So I'm glad you found that one, Frigsy. I'm glad you then found a YML out of the back of that, and good to have you around, of course. All right. Have you downloaded mobile? I haven't. I probably should. Yeah, I need to do more with loops and sound packs and things because I know that Vortex over at Mobile Music Pro does some really good stuff, and I haven't played around with any of his stuff lately. He gave me the Jamie Mallender pack I played with. That was excellent. That was really good, Jamie's guitar pack, and I played with that for a couple of days, but I didn't really dive into it. Definitely need to do more. Very cool stuff. Somebody say Dyson. It's the Fusen vacuum cleaner stream. Yeah. Welcome to the vacuum cleaner. Is this the Fusen vacuum cleaner stream? What is it with that, by the way? We had that a while ago where a bunch of people came in and said, is this the blah vacuum cleaner? Like there's some weird spamming going on where it's sending people to random streams and they're asking about vacuums. I don't know what that was. It was probably a meme that I'm too old to understand. How can you check if you can use a song on YouTube? I think they removed the page. They did, yeah. So this was one from so YouTube copyright. So YouTube used to maintain a really cool page that allowed you to show. Here it is, YouTube copyright and content ID. So I did this video a while ago talking about whether you could use songs on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that I had down in here, this one here. So YouTube used to have a really good, yeah, there it's gone. YouTube used to have a really good music policies page where they had basically every artist and every song, and you could find out if you used it on YouTube, whether you would get a content ID claim, a takedown notice, what countries it was copywritten in, and it really did help out. These days, I think it's because there's just too much music. They realize that the upkeep of having every song and every variation of every song and then every country and all the different publishers, it just became too hard. So they put it in the too hard basket. My recommendation on this, and it's not a perfect thing, but if I've got a song that I'm not sure about, before I do a Your Music Live and get a takedown notice or something like that, I don't do it much these days because most artists know it. And most artists know don't put content ID on your songs. Don't put takedown notices. Don't submit a song to a show where I play your music on my channel and then submit a copyright takedown notice so that the show gets taken down. Like, that makes zero sense. So most people are cool these days. But if there's someone that's on the edge, I'm like, oh, maybe they're too popular. Maybe their record company's going to do something dodgy here. I'll just do an unlisted stream, set up the playlist, and just play it through. And then it'll tell me afterwards what got flagged for where. So you kind of do a test run. You do a dress rehearsal first, and then you use YouTube's content. It'll all run through YouTube's content ID system. Even if it's a private video or an unlisted video, it still pushes it through. And then if you get takedown notices and things, you can know, hey, I can't use that. Or on the contrary, if you get one that gets absolutely nothing, you know that you're going to be okay, and you're not going to get any content ID claims at all. So just throw it out there. Just throw it up onto YouTube and see what happens. I know it's not a perfect solution, solution, but it's the way that works. Hello, Bo Few GarageBand covers. I hope you are doing well. I also like Dysons. I have a Dyson. There you go. Have an appointment to get to. Enjoy the rest of your anniversary. Thank you, Sam, and thank you for all of your support and encouragement. We'll have to do lunch sometime soon. Lunch is on me next time we catch up. There you go. I'll buy Sam lunch next time we catch up because all you folks have made kind donations to me here today. I'll pay it forward for you. All right. Let's see if we've got any other questions or comments. I've just scrolled down. No, I've caught up, which is cool. So we're going to, I wanted to go maximum of 2 hours here today. So we've got 35 minutes to go. I wanted to talk about some learnings here. So I'm going to talk YouTube to start with, because many people ask me about being a content creator. They're like, you've been doing this for a long time, Johns, and I want to do what you do, or I want to do something similar, or I want to do content creation with my stuff. What tips do you have for me? What have you learned in 7 years of YouTube? The number one thing that I've learned is to follow trends broadly, but not specifically. So there's two things that you can do that I think are wrong. There is that you can stick your feet in the concrete and you can say, I'm not moving, you're not going to move me from here, I'm not going to change, I'm not going to check out all this new stuff, all this new digital fandangled contraption. You can go like that, right? Or you can say, what's that? NFTs? What's that? Cryptocurrency? What's that? AI? And just frantically follow every trend and try and be the trendsetter, try and be bleeding edge. I think either of those is a recipe for failure, because if you are trying to be bleeding edge, you're chasing that new, you're trying to be the first person to premiere the video about the particular app. You're chasing your tail. You're going to be competing against other people that are doing the exact same thing. It's like the Walmart race to the bottom effect, where everyone's just trying to pump it out. And look, you can say, Johns, you're a hypocrite, because whenever a GarageBand update comes out, you put out an update as quickly as possible. So yeah, I guess I do. But that's because I know so many of you are waiting on that update, and maybe you don't know that it's there. And maybe you want to find out information about what's in there. So that's probably the exception that proves the rule. But when it comes to other things, yeah, you don't have to be right up there with things. Let things percolate for a while. Don't be the first all the time. Let other people be the guinea pig sometimes, and then you can come in with that once it's secured. So with short form content, did I miss the boat on TikTok and YouTube Shorts because I wasn't on board on those first 6 months where it was like a free-for-all? Yes. But did I still have the consistency and the knowledge to go, right, well, now that it's established, I will start using that as part of my strategy? Also, yes. Did I jump on live streaming straight away? No, mostly because I had such a crappy internet connection I couldn't. But now I've realized that the benefits of live streaming are huge, and I love doing it. So follow trends broadly, not specifically, would be my advice. Related to that, don't try and copy people directly. Don't be a clone. When I first started this, I wanted to be the next Graham Cochran or the next Joe Gilder. Joe Gilder in particular, I looked up to him and I'm like, yeah, I want to be like that. I want to be a home studio guy. I want to do mixing and do a mix service thing, and I want to do a bunch of courses and launches and things. And then I realized that just wasn't me. And no one's going to be a better Joe Gilder than Joe Gilder. But guess what? No one's going to be a better Pete Johns than Pete Johns. So that's what I think. Like, you don't try and just emulate someone else completely. Just you do you. You do you, and be the best version of you that you can be. So that's my second bit of advice, and something that I learnt early on is don't just be someone else. They're better at being them than you are. Number 3. Try new things and experiment. So you've seen iterations of different things on this show. I've done 1-minute videos and 2-minute quick tip videos. I've done 2-hour live streams like this one. I've done short form content. I've done vertical video. I've done 3 different iterations of a weekly kind of chat show through things like Creator Town Hall, the Creator Series, Home Studio Q&A, and the podcast. In fact, 4 different versions. So, and some of those worked for a time, and then they didn't. And so I pivoted and I did something different. So again, it comes back to that whole not just doing the same thing and expecting better results. So, and that's something I was doing early on. I was like, oh, it's so good. Like if I did the wrong thing, what I would do is I'd go, people love toothpick videos. People love cleaning out your stuff. Let's show other things about how to clean things out of things. And I would have gone all in on that. And yeah, it would have just cannibalized my own views. It wouldn't have ended well. So I learnt that, while you want to do more things that are your successful things, don't just do them for the sake of doing them, right? Yeah. Number 4, the algorithm, stats, vanity metrics. they all really don't matter. It'll come and go. It'll do good things for you sometimes, it'll do bad things for you other times. The important thing is that you understand what your audience is looking for and you attempt to deliver things that they're going to like. Now, are you going to get frustrated that sometimes you create the coolest thing that you know is exactly what people are looking for and then no one gets a notification and then no one watches? Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. But can you control that? No, not really. And yes, you can spend all your time looking at keywords and tags. I spent plenty of time early on doing all that business. And you know what I found out in the end? It's all just kind of random. It's all just kind of whatever happens at the time. It's like capturing lightning in a bottle type things. And the only thing you can do is to just give yourself more shots, more at bats, more shots on goal. And then you'll score more goals if you have more shots on goal. And it doesn't really matter if you're only shooting at 1% because you take 100 shots, that you still get one really big successful thing. That's cool. If you only take 10 shots and then give up, and you've only got a 1% chance, like you're just not gonna, like more times than not, you're not gonna score at all. So take more shots, do more things. And the last thing is people first. People say content is king. I say people are kings. I say that if you put people first when you're looking to provide something, you're kind of always gonna do the right thing by yourself and by other people. So if you're trying to put money first, it's not going to work. Like, people say don't get into music for the money. Definitely don't get into content creation for the money because it'll come, but it could be a grind. It took me the first 5 years of my 7 years to make enough money to do this. So I wasn't in a hurry, but some people are. Some people think, oh man, I see all these YouTubers and they're getting millions of views and they must be super rich. Not really, because there's a lot of things under the hood that mean that that's not the case. It's not quite as easy as that. And don't forget, you look at those YouTube earnings, people go to places like Social Blade and they look at people's earnings. Don't forget, you got to take about 30-40% off for tax because this is income, folks. If you don't pay your taxes, if you're doing something online and you're getting money from people, that is an income. I don't care what you call it. Some people are like, oh, but it's my hobby, you see. YouTube is my hobby. I'm not in it for money. Are you making money? Yes, it's your income. It really is as simple. Like, I'm not an accountant. I'm not here to give you advice, but it is an income. So when you get donations, when you get income from YouTube streams, when you get sponsorship deals and things, yeah, that was a big shining light early on because I was starting to look at this stuff going, hey, this is a bit all right. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Tax man's going to come and do this. It's the finger thing needs the money. Yeah. So I say all that to say people first, like deliver things that are going to be good for people, deliver content that's good for people. Just be a human. And none of the algorithms or AI or social media things in the world or trends are going to change the fact that human to human connection is the most important thing about anything in the world. So that is all I got to say about that. That's my tips. There you go. 5 things. Now you can be a content creator. Alrighty. Frigsy says tomorrow is commuting day for me, almost 1:30, so got to go. Thank you, Frigsy. Appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, I know it's very late. Free with BMI to set up for a PRO. I should definitely do that. Am I from the UK? I am from Australia. I am from Adelaide, South Australia. Thank you, Rita, for hanging out. Appreciate you. Bananas. We don't have bananas. We don't need no stinking bananas. I will never stream again at 6 a.m. after just getting up. Yeah, it's definitely not a great idea. Yes. Yes. Frigsy is in Ireland. Yes, and Russ is in the UK. Taxman, I know, he comes at you. Regardless of what you do, it's like, you sell shares. Did you make money? Yes. All right. Well, capital gains tax. Oh God, did you get a donation? Yes. Okay. Well, that's income. Pay your taxes, boy. Like, sure, fine. And I could choose not to, of course, but you know what I don't want? I don't want an audit. So I pay my taxes and probably then some. Because I don't want to live in fear of the fact that I'm going to have to pay back taxes for all the income I've received. So the one thing I do is make sure that I have myself set up so that every dollar that comes in, which is, look, I know it's sad for you because people are like, but Pete, I just want to support you. I don't want to support the Australian government. But guess what? We live in a society here, and that's just the way it works in a society where you pay tax. Let's scroll down. I've nearly caught up. Yeah, all right, we're caught up. Yes, we've solved the mystery of Frigsy. All right. So where are we at? Yeah, we're on the homeward stretch here. Thanks for hanging out, by the way. I've been chuffed that so many folks have decided to come and hang out here and have a chat for the anniversary. We do this show once a year, and it's always one of my favourite things to do because it really has no purpose, no purpose except to say a big thank you and hopefully pass on a few little bits, little tidbits. If you walk away with just maybe one little bit of advice of the things that I've learned, sure you got to get out there and make your own mistakes too, but maybe there's something that I've done that you can choose not to do. Let's have a little water. I'm just going to refill my water water cup, and then I'm going to rant about something else. I'm going to rant about music. And the learnings I've had related to music have been vast over the last 7 years. Vast, I say. And it kind of breaks down to this when I was thinking it through. Number one, listen to other people's music as much as you can. Like as much as feasibly possible. The main reason I started to do things like the YML show, Your Music Live, was that I wanted to listen to more people's music. And I thought, hey, if I'm listening to other people's independent music anyway, and then providing comments and feedback on it, why don't I do that on a live show? Because I can just sit back, listen to music, be like the DJ, and just say, hey, I just spun up a cool tune from Frigsy. It was called Dirty Money, and it was awesome, and here's why. And then I play a Jay Star song, and then I play a Russ song. So, yeah, listen to other people's music, because you'll learn a heap, and don't just listen to the one style. Look, I've just been going through my CD collection. As you can see, I've changed up the background over there. So that's a pile of the CDs I had upstairs. And I'm going through these going, man, I used to listen to so much of the same music. The diversity of my collection between about 1992 and 2005 was zilch. It was, does it have good loud guitars in it? Is it grunge, punk, or alternative rock? Then I probably bought it. If it's anything else, I didn't buy it. So, yeah, listen to a lot of different music. Listen to your own music. This is a weird one. People are like, "Oh, isn't it isn't it really big-headed of me to listen to my own music?" No. You should love listening to your own music. If you don't like listening to your music, how can you expect anyone else to want to listen to your music? Like, really, at the end of the day, listen to your own music. And I had a couple of days ago, where I went to my playlist, I went to my Pete Johns music playlist, and I just watched all my music videos and listened to my music. And you know what? Listen to the ones you don't like as much as the ones you do. Listen to the cringy ones, because it's going to motivate you to not want to do that again. Like, yes, it's good to listen to the ones you're super proud of, but listen to the ones that you're not super proud of, and then make sure that you know why. Because all you can do, you can't change the past. All you can do is improve next time. And if you don't know what you did wrong, you won't know what to improve next time. Spend more time creating than learning. Now, this is me talking at myself as much as it is talking at you, because I've spent a lot of time I don't spend time learning, I've been spending time teaching. So for me, in 2023, it's got to be spend less time teaching and more time creating. So it's a slight variation there, but you can be a student of recording. You can be a student. You can look at all the gear. You can watch the reviews of the apps. You can watch all these live shows. But for the love of your deity of choice, please spend as much time as you can creating music, because otherwise you just become a professional consumer. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to get 10 years down the track and go, wow, I know so much about recording now. I know every new app that's out there. I've used a bunch of different DAWs, but I haven't put out a song. I haven't shared a single complete song. Unless that's what you want to do, in which case more power to you. But if you want to actually be making music, spend more time making than you do. That's why when people come into the show and they're like, I got to go make music, I'm like, see ya. I'd much prefer to see you come in and say hello and then leave. Sure, it doesn't help the algorithms, and it doesn't help the watch times and the view counts and all those vanity metrics that don't matter. But it sure as heck helps you create music. And if I'm true to my word that my mission statement around here is to help as many folks as possible create, record, and release their best music, then I want you to be going and making music, even if it's at the detriment of my own channel. Choose your connections carefully. I say connections because it's not really friends, it's not really colleagues, it's connections. You will connect with a lot of different people and groups and things. So the reason I use connections is you get to choose who you connect with and how, and what you connect with and how. So keep that in mind, that it's not one of those forced things. If you think, oh man, I'm a Logic user, so I got to go to this Logic Pro users group, but you really don't like it because it's super toxic, leave. There's plenty of other environments that you can go to. It's the same with anything. Like if you're working with someone that's just not working out, just very politely just say, "Hey, thanks so much for spending the time. This just isn't working out." Like say no, sever contacts when you need to. I know that sounds harsh, but there's been some times where I've not had the confidence or not had the upfront resilience to say no to things that I knew I didn't want to do, and then I accepted them, and then I got down the track, and then I couldn't fulfill my obligation, and then I felt terrible. Whereas a simple thanks so much for the offer, that's super kind. I can't really do that right now, but I wish you all the best with it. That's all I needed to do. And it's the same with you and your music. So, and I know we were chatting with Jay the other day on the podcast about collaborations, and it's the number one thing with collaborations too. The reason I say no to 95% of collaborations is I don't want to be the one letting you down with your music. And I know how much time I have and don't have, and it's very limited in terms of being able to make music. So collaborations are not something I do a lot, but there's other people out there that will. So don't worry. Don't worry about me. Leave me behind. Go collaborate with other folks. And finally, relax. Take a deep breath. Take a chill pill. Don't worry so much about it. It doesn't need to be intense. It doesn't need to be negativity. It doesn't need to be frantic and frenetic. And yeah, you don't need to get yourself or your knickers in a twist about things. Things will happen. People will come and go. Music will be successful. Music will be unsuccessful. You'll love some things. You'll hate other things. It's all good. It's all fine. Learn how to relax. Find ways to relax. And make sure, again, for the love of your deity of choice, enjoy making music. It should be fun. I don't know how many times I have to say this before it's going to get through to some folks, but I still get people. That are obviously, look, I know the old adage is that hurt people. But so many people just seem to have so much stress and negativity and frustration in their soul. There's no other way to say it. And I'm sorry, but if you're on a forum or if you're on a video about how to create music in GarageBand and you come on them there and you say, yeah, you're an idiot for using Apple and it's so much easier if you use another app. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. Why am I whispering? But honestly, I don't get it. For the longest time. I've got a video that's why you can't use GarageBand on a PC. And the amount of people that come on there and say, why would you want to use a Mac anyway? Because PC is so much better because blah, 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 blah. Like, why are you looking up a video about how to use GarageBand, bro? Like, it's got nothing to do with you at that point. Who hurt you? And could you go and hurt them instead of, like, just causing trouble for other people? Man. Anyway, I go off on tangents, but seriously, I say all that to say, enjoy your music. You don't have to be. And if you don't like it, as I say to my children, if you're doing something that's supposedly for fun, a hobby, an interest, and it's making you more angry and frustrated than you were before you started doing it, guess what? It's a pretty shit hobby. It's not the hobby for you. If I went and started basket weaving and got halfway through my first basket and had a complete tanty and just tore it up and threw it to the ground, should I keep doing basket weaving or should I go, actually, basket weaving's probably not for me? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting now. All right. Let's take it out to a few folks who have strolled on in since I've been ranting. I've been ranting for so long. I forgot. Yeah, pay it forward. Definitely. I'll go buy Sam some lunch when we can catch up. I know I'm not alone in this, but Mr. Johns, thank you for your good work and good heart. You not only gave me the knowledge, but the courage to release. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not just all about the knowledge either. You got to have the supportive community to get the courage to be able to do that. You definitely do learn a lot from listening to your music. Hopefully you learn what not to do next time. Spot on as well. Cringy. See, when I want to relax, I sit down and listen to We Play Hockey by Rick Lisk. That's the coolest song. Is that still somewhere, Rick? I really want to hear that. Really early on, Rick started building songs in GarageBand. Funny thing about Rick Lisk is that he was like, I started using GarageBand because I was a gamer and I thought it was a game, so I wanted to play this game, but it was about songs. And because he's like a handy dude, he used to call it building songs. And I was like, haha, so quaint, Rick Lisk and his building songs. And then I went to the GarageBand manual and guess what? It says building songs. It calls it building songs in the GarageBand manual. So Rick Lisk was right. Yeah, totally. But do we have it? Is it here on YouTube? I know you've shared it on the. No, I can't find it. But anyway, Rick has a really good song called "We Play Hockey." Maybe I'll find it somewhere. Maybe Rick can send it to me, or maybe it's on the Facebook page. I don't know. All right. You can't learn properly if you don't actually apply it. Exactly. Either teach things or do things, but if you just learn the theory and you don't apply it, you're not going to progress. Hello. Thank you, Black Diamond, for the kind words. Yeah, it's cool. Leave the show running when you aren't watching. A lot of people, I do that to Thomas Christ all the time. I'll come back and it's playing like the third version of You Rock because I've just left him on for like 4 hours while I'm out. Edit drums while watching. Go for it. Absolutely. Happy Ron is all about the songwriting collabs. Good stuff. Yeah, sometimes a polite no is indeed the best answer. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't be like Johns. Do that. Boom indeed. Speaking of Boom, what do we got? Yeah, 15 minutes till the Metalhead Hippie is rocking the airwaves with his show. So don't forget, you can get on over there. I think I just saw it when I was there searching. Yeah, look, where is he? Where is he? Where's the Metalhead Hippie? There he is. Boom. This is, coming up in 14 minutes. Let's give him a like. Let's share this here in the chat, shall we? So you can set yourself a reminder and go and check out some cool music. And by the way, Metalhead Hippie, probably the worst name in history. And I say that with love because it's not just metal. He's a metalhead, sure, and he plays a lot of metal, but it's not just metal. If you're making rock music, if you're making funky music, you're making soul music, you're making any sort of music, send it over to the hippie because he'll probably give it a spin. A bit like me, as long as it's not super hateful, as long as it's not super leaning towards anything, you know what I'm saying? Then you probably get a spin. So go and check out the Metalhead Hippie show if you want even more support and another cool community as well. You and Jade saved me. I was thinking about turning off the chat in my stream for some stupid reason. I asked your thoughts. Yeah, look, chat. You do need to be thick-skinned. Obviously, we get the prawn bots from time to time. Occasionally, we'll get a couple of wankers that'll come in and want to cause trouble. But guess what? They don't last long because you can tell people. That's the beautiful thing. This is your workplace. People think, oh man, it's my right to be here and say stuff. Like, no, it ain't. It's my right to moderate my chat in any way I wish. And if I want to kick you out, I don't need a reason. I'm sending you on your way. So, not that I do that for anything, except if people are going to be dicks. If you're not a dick, you get to stay. It's as simple as that. Basket weaving. There you go. Ta-ta-tie. That's a new one, Pete. Did I say something weird? Probably. That's true. I know a whole lot. Yeah, right. That's why I did quit playing golf, Scott. That's why I quit playing golf because I was terrible at it. I got more frustrated than I'd come back after a game of golf and like, why do I do that again? And then eventually I said, I'm not gonna stop. It's on my YouTube under playlist songs by Rick Lisk. I've got to be able to find it. It's got to be there. Georgie is around, but she's not in the general vicinity, and she's probably not watching or tuning in. So, she sends her love though. She was the one that said, "It's your 7-year anniversary. For goodness sake, put your plaque up. People want to see your plaque. They want to celebrate with you. So, put up your 100,000 plaque." So I did. Tanty. Oh, Tanty. Yeah, you never heard of a Tanty? Like tantrum, obviously. But I did say before that in Australia, we just put an E on the end of everything. So yeah, nothing worse than when you're at a barbie and someone chucks a Tanty and storms off. And then you're just like, Struth, what got up there? They got a bug up their butt, didn't they? Jesus. I watched Pete and Jade to learn Australianisms or to learn... look, how many hands up who's not socially awkward? What's that? A complete lack of hands? I know, because musicians generally have a tendency to be a little awky at times, just quietly. G'day, Ed Z. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Ed Z, always good to see you. Mr. Nevitz, thank you. Thanks for the help. Well, thank you for your kind donation. You help keep the lights on around here. I didn't say that there wouldn't be at least one other on the show. Yes, we help keep the lights on around here. So thank you so much for the kind donation. I appreciate you. All right. Doesn't bring... Exactly. Yeah, doesn't bring tinnies, chucks Tanty, goes home. Exactly. Hello, Kim Harden Hudson. Did I miss it? Yeah, almost did. We got 10 minutes left, Kim. So you're here. Yes, thank you. By the way, yes, donations always appreciated, never required. But they do help keep the lights on around here. So thank you. Thank you all for your kindness, for your donations, and for your time here today. Let me just check. In fact, while I'm saying thank yous, one of the things I wanted to do here before I run out of time is to say thank you to everybody. So thank you. We'll start sort of simply, which is that I mentioned before that this channel's had 32 million views, which I don't take lightly. I don't say that to brag. I say that in absolute astonishment that that many people or that many times people would choose to watch videos that I put out there. So huge thank you to everyone who's who's ever watched a video here on the channel. You're awesome. Thank you to all those who do the thumbs up thing, who leave comments, who are interactive in chat. That really helps out. It helps encourage me. It helps me know that I'm on the right track doing the right things. Thank you to all those who've donated, either through PayPal link down below, or through Super Chats, like we've seen many, many kind folks do on this very show. So thank you a heap for that. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to the people over at studiolivetoday.com/Patreon. You folks are all awesome. We've got 69 patrons, which is nice over there at the moment. And you folks are the lifeblood of Studio Live Today. You help keep me centered and grounded and support me as well, which is super cool. Thank you to all the moderators and fellow creators around the community. We're talking Thomas Christ and Jade Star. We're talking Bubba. We're talking Sion. We're talking Gabriel from like the really early days. We're talking a bunch of people that I'm definitely forgetting about. Leela, who's now one of our newest moderators. You all know who you are. You're awesome, and you do help keep things running smoothly around here. And I definitely, not that I couldn't do it without you, I wouldn't want to do it without you. So put it that way. You are the enhancements. You are like the sprinkle of chocolate on top of the cappuccino. Yeah, exactly. Which means that I'm the bitter stuff and you're sweet. I'm the coffee. I'm the bitter coffee. And you're the sweet dollop of cream on top. I'm getting weird now. And thank you to all my family and friends. Thank you to Georgie, obviously, who helps out. Thanks to my kids for tolerating that Dad's a bit of a weirdo and has a weird job. I think they like it more than they don't like it, because I can, I'll be a bit more available and be around the place a lot more, and I'm not having to put a suit and tie on and leave the house for 10 hours a day, which is lovely. So thank you to all the family and all my friends and to everyone. So, yeah, and huge thank you to the sponsors. Like, there's really cool people behind the scenes, like the folks who know who they are over at IK Multimedia, over at DistroKid, over at BandLab, all the people that I've worked with extensively over the last few years, from Clevgrant, who make a lot of really cool apps. Folks at Apple, I don't chat with the folks at Apple a whole lot, but they are, not surprisingly, super nice people from the few times that I've spoken to them. Everyone's been super supportive. So, yeah, I just wanted to say a huge, big, heartfelt thank you to you all for being awesome. Thank you to the Academy and to God. Badumch, absolutely. Thank you, Third Person Pod. G'day. And yeah, thank you to the mods. They are awesome. They do all the work, and they keep the prawn bots away, and they do all the good things. I tried it. Oh, that's cool. No problem. It didn't seem to go through EdZ, but it's a bit weird. The YouTube system's a bit bizarre. That's fine. Like, there's no rush. I'm here 4 times a week, so there's never any problem here. Meet here again 7 years from today. Well, it'll be a year from today, because guess what? I'm sure I'll do an 8-year anniversary. We definitely did a 6-year. If you wanna find out, let's just go back in time. Did we do 6-year? Yeah, there was the 6-year YouTube anniversary that we did last year. How long did we go there? 2 hours and 7. All right, we'll try and go under 2 hours today. And I'm pretty sure we did a 5-year as well. I think we did a big 5-year anniversary. There you go, 5 years on YouTube. And that one we went 2 hours 14. Did we do 4 years? I don't know. I think we only started doing it at the 5-year mark. But if you want to go back in time, yeah. So if you want to go back in time and you want to check out, let's see what was happening and what we looked like 5 years ago. Just real quick before we finish off here. All right, there's me. The other thing that we've got here is not much different promo codes. So if you do want to get some, I'm wearing the OG. See, it's so OG, it doesn't even have the red in the logo there. This is the first ever Studio Live Today t-shirt that I ever bought, that I ever made for myself with the logo. It's a medium, which is why yeah. So all the way back then, yeah. Okay, so we're doing similar sort of stuff. We're going through a lot of the old school stuff there, including, you know what? I've been doing this thing at the start here where I put that on there. The old school start. Yeah, the blue couch era. Absolutely. Blue couch era. Hey there, Pete Johns here. And it's going. That was weird. It was showing more stuff. And then if you're thinking about the blue couch, the Creator Town Hall #1. This was probably in terms of. I did mention highlights for me. One of the highlights, if we can find it. Oh, how are we going to find #1? Jade Star. Put Jade Star's name in there. The very first Creator Town Hall we did, Jay was actually in Adelaide for. So this was a while ago. This was one of the funnest starts of a show. So we'll play this one, and then we'll say our farewells because we're kind of done here. So this was a lot of fun. There was the couch, the old blue couch time. Going live in 5, 4, 3. You know the rest. Yes, welcome to the very first episode of the Creator Town Hall here on Studio Live today, and I've got a special guest who'll be joining us in. What's that noise? There's something going on. There's something happening over here. What's happening over on the treadmill? Oh! Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Jade Star. She's gonna break a hip. Oh man, that was quite a workout.
Wow. Hi everyone.
Probably the still the memory of all the live streaming I've done, and I counted up the other day. It's many thousands of hours of live streaming on this channel. That was probably the funnest thing that happened. So I'll throw that. That was a fun chat. That was the first episode. When was that? That was a year. It says a year, but it was closer to 2 years ago, wasn't it? 16th of March 2021. So we're talking nearly 2 years ago. The treadmill still exists. It's in a different room now, but yeah, it is a legendary treadmill. So if you want to go and check that one, I'll throw it in the chat here. That was a fun chat that Jade and I had for the very first Creator Town Hall, where she was live here in the studio, and then we went out to eat delicious noodles at my favourite noodle joint, and drank a few too many beers and beverages those couple of days, just quietly. Alrighty, we are nearly done. Thank you, Beelzebub. Yes, 7 years. Appreciate you. Thank you for helping keep the lights on around here. I appreciate it greatly. This is going to do it. All I've got left to say is that we have a big weekend of shows. So this is usually my day off. So I'm going to go and have a wee bit of a rest. Don't forget, you got Hippie coming up next. You got Thomas Christ with You Rock tomorrow. So make sure you set her up. In fact, let's do all the stuff that we need to do, because Thomas Christ is, again, we talked about him before. He's one of the wonderful moderators here, and he does his own show. It is this one here. It is called You Rock, and you can check that one out in just 21 hours time. Look, I'm gonna copy this here. Get over there. If you want to support a creator, we always love it as a creator when you drop into your own stream and you can see that people have already been on there leaving comments and liking. So I'm just going to say, looking forward to an epic show, TC. So you put it there and just leave a like. You can also set a reminder. So click this notify me button and it'll tell you when Thomas is going live. We did also have the Metalhead Hippie. I've already sent you the link for that one. So there's already 8 people hanging out there in the Hippie chat. So you can get on over there. Look, Frank Terzo's there and a bunch of cool people. Gary Hubbs even, who's also... did I say hello, Gary? Hello, Gary. Hope you're doing well. Finally got my link up. Very, very cool. Yep. So you can jump on over there. And then I've got, if we search Pete John's podcast, number 5, hopefully this will work and it'll pop up. I've got too many things. It's with our friend Sarah Nguyen. Sarah Nguyen. Let's see if we can find this one. There she is. So if you haven't, there's a little clip there, which you can check out if you want to before the show. That was last time Shara. Last time Shara was on the show. So this is happening Friday after Jade. Myself and Sarah Nguyen will be chatting about creating and AI text generators and sharing too much information online and all that sort of stuff. So there's a little teaser clip there from last time that you can check out. But Yeah, Sarah is an absolute delight. And she's a little bit more fun to look at than I am. Sorry, Sarah. That was creepy. Creepy old man Johns. I apologize for that one, but it is cool to have Sarah on the show. She is super knowledgeable when it comes to creations, to sharing your creative. She's a Canva pro, so she's an expert in creating in Canva.com, which is one of my favorite platforms to use, and I've learned a heap from her on that. And she does a lot better with the whole email marketing stuff. So if you want to learn about that side of creativity, Sarah is your person to do that. All right, time for us to finish up here because Johnson's brain's getting a little bit shoddy at this point to our show. But I hope you have a wonderful couple of days. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me here today. If you're watching on the replay, feel free to throw a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. It was fun learning about folks and what's your biggest highlights been over the last 7 years. So keep sharing those down in the comments if you want to. Don't forget to share this show with other folks because we still have new people fighting the community on a weekly basis, which is very, very cool. Yes, and Jade had the V-Ray album launch before the podcast, which is Thursday evening, Friday morning if you're here in Australia, but Thursday evening. So it's going to be a big one on that day. But if you go to studiolivetoday.com, you'll keep up with all this stuff. We have the email mailing list, we have all the links, all the playlists, and all the rest of it there. All right, well, that's going to do it for me. Thanks you again for 7 awesome years of Studio Live Today. And as I've been saying for quite a while here, at least for the last 3 or 4 years, what I say at the end of every show is thank you. And please be kind to yourselves this week. Be kind to others. Keep creating. And I'll see you next time here on The One, The Only.